Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Namaskar. This is Engineer Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India. This is now February 9th, 2022. Wednesday. It's now 3:43 a.m. मैं सूरज सिंह सिविल इंजीनियर भारत से बोल रहा हूँ, भारत इंडिया से। आज फरवरी 9 2022 बुधवार 3:43 सुबह के and talking to you about coordination, quality and certificates shown to you as usual. And here talk title is as usual, quality works, projects coordination engineering, communication, materials engineering, contracts, safety, designs, construction methods, arbitration, etc., as usual. Just to be again in same spirit of quality issues. This is certificate chartered engineer. This is certificate competency certificate. This is international professional engineer certificate. This is fellow membership certificate. This is quality file which we are going to confirm with, and this is coordination file. And meanwhile, I like to close these certificates after being displayed as usual. And also I close this fellow certificate. So we are now on quality and coordination, and here is coordination engineering. I have great, you can say, soul here for coordination and quality, because without quality you can say something is rubbish. You can say without quality nothing is good, in fact. And if we consider quality and coordination, it's not just for my field, civil engineering, it's for every field. सब कुछ हर फील्ड में होता है, थोड़ा हिंदी बोल रहा हूँ, माफ़ कीजिएगा। सब कुछ सब फील्ड में होता है, होना चाहिए। हमारा देश भारत और विश्व पूरा क्वालिटी के बंधन में होना चाहिए, क्योंकि क्वालिटी देकर कोई एहसान नहीं करते हम किसी पे। क्वालिटी लेना, जो व्यक्ति कोई भी ग्राहक कोई चीज़ लेता है तो उसको क्वालिटी मिलने का हक है। उसको पता होना चाहिए कि वो वस्तु जो वो ख़रीद रहा है वो कैसा काम करेगी, कितनी देर तक काम करेगी, कितना समय तक जिएगी और कितना परफॉर्मेंस उसका होगा। वो कुछ आशाएं लेके सामान खरीदता है, कोई भी हम हो आप हो, आशाएं लेके we just have some hopes while we buy something, that this item shall help me for so many years, it shall work for me like this and like that, and these are specifications on the item, and these should work, because when you go buy something, who remembers what was specification? But there is general expectation, we have common understanding that this article, this good which I bought, should work as such, and nobody goes to what was purchased, what was written on that sales receipt, or what was written on specification. Nobody remembers that, and that's what we say. This fact is known to every industrialist, every manufacturer, every producer. This fact is known that people forget. Habit of forgetting is very much known to everyone. Hardly 1 or 2% people are serious in remembering, but generally all those who are in common life, who just buy randomly anything, they just buy something without any scrutiny, those people suffer. वो लोग जो समझ लेते हैं कि हाँ ये बड़ा मैन्युफैक्चरर है, बड़ी कंपनी है, बड़ा इसका अच्छा रिकॉर्ड है, ये सामान तो अच्छा ही देगा, ये एज्यूम कर लेते हैं कल्पना में। होता यह है कि ये सामान कोई भी नहीं बनाता, ज़्यादातर सामान बाहर से बनवाते हैं। जो मैंने लोगों से समझा है, आजकल ज़माना वो नहीं है जो पहले सच्चाई का था, झूठ पर दुनिया चलती है। This is not time based on truthness, but this time based on false or fake statements, or you can say false statements. There's nothing as such you can say absolute truth in this age. People are business minded, commercial minded, and they are just inclined to have more and more production and more money and more, expanding their wealth. That's what lies behind all commerce, all business in this age. 2022, and if you go back to 1.5 or 2 decades, you will find degradation of quality system everywhere. Systems exist, but quality does not exist. Every company, every organization, government or private, will find almost all having certifications from quality systems, from ISO 9000 or from some other, whatever it is. They will have all formalities done as far as business is concerned, but quality product, quality is not. It's not working, it doesn't work the way it should be. You can buy product from whatever top class international organizations. You won't find that satisfaction that comes from, or that used to come before. So my consideration is therefore always different. People may be thinking, they may think, every day I talk of quality, every day I talk, that's why I've added coordination to that one also, because coordination is very much integrated with quality and with business and with every part of life. Coordination like communication and like quality, I have to work together, and coordination is not only quality production but also in manufacturing, in real estate, in construction, and it is in designs, and also because coordination is related to some kind of mechanism, or transport mechanism, or communication mechanism, telecast mechanism, or broadcast mechanism, whatever, a personal information mechanism, whatever you can call, where IT is used or not used, otherwise we have to do, and that's why we can say coordination is linked to communication, communication are linked to quality, and quality is linked to product, and you can say product is linked to business. And you can say business is linked to life and people of world and people of this country, particularly our country, Bharat, India. And that's it. I'm just trying to say what I mean. I try to explain what is unexplained or what people are serious with. And in fact, current generation, or you can say people who think they are advanced, I don't know what for they advanced, just using computer for advanced or using high profile calculation or advanced. I think that's not advancement. Advancement should be in your opinion, should be in the mindset. I can use computer. Everybody uses computer is now common. Like you eat something, yes, computer is like that. Everybody uses computer. People use mobile, and people use all devices, all gadgets. It doesn't mean they're advanced. It means you have advanced on devices, you have advanced on technologies, but you have forgot something which you owned before. Everybody used to own calculate. You calculate. You remember to write before, read before. You have your habits of reading books and habit of writing and comprehension writing. And we used to do so much work personally, which used to keep our mind very strong, very active. But now the situation has degraded. People are not interested in writing, they are interested in photographs, they are interested in pictures, and they are not interested in images they are interested in. And they are to share with public. If you go to see Facebook or some other, you'll find videos or pictures or photos but writing is very limited, means very smallest, I find just 2 or 3% people may write something, and that's also political oriented or some religious oriented. As far as science is concerned, arts is concerned, profession is concerned, you'll find very little writing, and those who we are hungry for writing also, they write. Some young people don't have any experience, they don't understand quality, so they used to write something which may be, and without even verification of facts they write. That's why I'm saying that skill of writing has died, skill of reading has died, and skill of logic has died. And the only thing, everyone wants to write something, so just to publish on web, on media. And if you even see this print media and news channels media, electronics media, you will not find any good news or any good English composition, or even their own composition. They're just interested in headlines and no detailed logic and no detailed analysis and nothing. It seems that people with logic have gone. Those people who believed in justification and logic and reasoning, that nature, that you can say environment hasn't gone somewhere. I don't know where it is. So my title is therefore very much relevant to this. Quality works. When I say quality works, means whatever works we do in whatever engineering field or non-engineering field or whatever, means this should be very much relevant, and this must be complete in all respects. This means if there is a quantity involvement, that quantity involvement must involve in itself quality input. And if quality inculcation is not available, that product cannot be called product. So I like to stress on. And of course, every work is done through some project, maybe manufacturing project, industrial processing project, something, some fixation is there. You have to complete this item in this way, and where coordination design is available, quality design is available, product design is available, and work is done. And it is in all branches of engineering and life itself. We can say contracts or without contracts, designs or without designs, methods without methods. It's up to you to decide. But what system requires, a procedure requires that everything should be scientifically based, engineering based, or you can say logically based, and standards are available. Everything is available, but we have to be very much logical for that. And that's why I try to use this actually my experience to share with you, because it's property of people. Even if I know something, I don't know for my personal use. Whatever I learned, bad or good in my life, that was through public works, that was through people's works. In whatever country you work, you have to work for others. So whatever knowledge you gain from others. It's not something that is my own. If I did some projects, many projects in other countries, these were those people's project, and I got from them something, or they got from us, or you get from somewhere. It's not your personal item. It doesn't matter even if you are not getting any benefit out of that in terms of money or finances. But you have to go one day leaving this world, and so that knowledge goes with you, without which will not serve any purpose for this society of world. So it is better to share your information, whatever good or bad you have, in some way that people can understand what you read, and if they can benefit that one. Because information is available, it should be used. That's what I say. सूचना है हमारे पास, हम जानते हैं हमने क्या किया क्या नहीं किया ज़िंदगी में. बहुत कुछ हर आदमी करता है, हमने भी कुछ ना कुछ तो किया होगा, कुछ ना कुछ काम तो किए होंगे. वो काम हमने सीखे भी होंगे कहीं से, लोगों ने हम सिखाए भी होंगे, हमने भी लोगों को सिखाए होंगे. दुनिया के अंदर, विश्व के अंदर कहीं भी काम किया हो, इस बात को समझना भी बहुत आवश्यक है. हमारी नॉलेज अगर जैसी मान लो किसी के काम आती है, तो बुराई क्या है उसमें. अगर हमने भी तो किसी से सीखी होगी, हमने भी तो कहीं कुछ सीखा होगा, नुकसान किया होगा, फ़ायदा किया होगा किसी का, और वही सीख दूसरों को मिलनी चाहिए. और अगर हमें नहीं मिली अपने जीवन में, इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि दूसरों को ना मिले. आज जो मैं देख रहा हूँ कि लोगों को शौक़ ही नहीं है सीखने का, बहुत जल्दी में सीखना चाहते हैं, एकदम मिल जाए, एकदम सीख जाए, एकदम काम कर ले. और ये एकदम का जो झटका है ना, ये अच्छा नहीं. जो चीज़ ग्रेजुअली आती है, सीखी जाती है, आप एकदम कहते हैं मैं सब सीख जाऊँ आज में. आप ना लिखना जानते हैं, मान लीजिए, कोशिश नहीं करते, आप पढ़ने का भी इंटरेस्ट नहीं रखते, बस कुछ भी क्वेश्चन नहीं आता पूछ लो, कुछ भी बात नहीं आई काम करते, किसी और से पूछ लो, कर दो. ये गलत है. आपको अपने अंदर एक जगह बनानी चाहिए कि हम पहले सब सीख जाएं. हम स्कूल में हो, कॉलेज में, यूनिवर्सिटी में हो, प्रोफेशन में, कहीं भी क्यों ना हो, पहले सीख तो दो. आपको करने की जल्दी क्या है इतनी. और जब काम में जल्दी चाहिए कि तब आप करेंगे नहीं, ऐसा होता है. सो व्हाट आई से, क्वालिटी एंड कोऑर्डिनेशन, गुणवत्ता और समन्वयता, क्या बोलते हैं, कोऑर्डिनेशन, समन्वय. क्वालिटी एंड कोऑर्डिनेशन, गुणवत्ता तथा समन्वय, इन दोनों को सोते हुए से उठाना है. उठ जाइए, गेट अप क्वालिटी एंड गेट अप कोऑर्डिनेशन. सोना छोड़ दीजिए हमारे देश में और विश्व में. हम अपने देश की तो बात कर रहे हैं. सोना छोड़ दीजिए हमारे देश में, जिसका नाम भारत है, इंडिया है, उसके बारे में भी बात कर रहे हैं हम, और जनरल बात भी कर रहे हैं. मेरे दोस्तों, आप गुणवत्ता या समन्वय, माय फ्रेंड्स, क्वालिटी एंड कोऑर्डिनेशन, आई कॉल यू माय फ्रेंड्स बिकॉज यू आर माय ट्रू फ्रेंड्स. इफ आई befriend you and you befriend me, because without you I don't exist. Maybe I don't have any quality. This means I am just a body. My soul is, you can say, powerless. If I don't have any quality in me, what should I say? I am powerless. Yes, I am. I have power only when my soil is enriched with energy, with quality, with working, and with concentration property. I can say my soul is better. But if I don't have that, if I don't apply quality system in myself, in my own, and I have no capacity to coordinate, in that case, I am useless, I am helpless. I just sleep, keeping my eyes open? Should I prefer that stage? Or I should read, I should write, I should think, I should chart out some solutions of problems. I should be professional, I should be preferably, you can say, friendly with my people, my juniors, my seniors. And if I don't have these parameters or these attributes, as I said, quality is undeveloped in me, coordination is not preferred because quality is not interested in. This means I just want work done without these two components, mandated components, essential components. In that work, I cannot work in that way, and profession doesn't permit me. If I ignore quality, I ignore coordination activities, I ignore requirements, and I ignore what is required, what is necessary, I cannot say that I do professional work. Profession itself says it should be based on in-depth study. Whatever activity we perform, whatever work we do, that should be based on professional activity. हम जो भी काम करते हैं प्रोफेशन के अंदर, वृत्ति के अंदर, अपने काम धंधे में, उसके अंदर जो चाहिए वो होना चाहिए, क्वालिटी चाहिए, गुणवत्ता चाहिए, संचार चाहिए, उसके अंदर क्या आवश्यकताएं उस चीज़ की जो होनी चाहिए, वो नहीं अगर देते हैं हम, तो हम प्रोफेशनल नहीं हैं और वो काम भी प्रोफेशनल नहीं है। हम वृत्तिक नहीं हैं और वो काम भी वैसा नहीं है जैसा होना चाहिए। और हम अपने आप को धोखे में रख के पैसे तो कमा सकते हैं, लेकिन वो ज़्यादा लंबे का सफ़र तय नहीं करेगा। एक तरह की मैं इसका चोरी ही कहूँगा। अगर कोई क्वालिटी नहीं देता है तो एक तरह की चोरी है। इट्स इक्विवेलेंट टू ए थेफ्ट और स्टीलिंग इफ क्वालिटी इज नॉट गिवन, इफ वॉट एवर इज टू बी डन is not done. It's not even ignorance. It is robbery, you can say. You're just getting price. Maybe you give some discount. I don't prefer that. You are not giving discount because you are not giving quality. So you have already discounted quality or part quality. Then you cannot say it is discount. It is same price, but you are spoiling use of that product. So if product is used for 5 years, it's used for only 3 years because of bad quality, then you have not given anything, any discount, but you have cheated that customer. But problem is customer cannot be so strong to wait or to act against that. And people think, okay, why to worry about that? Let me buy another product and throw it away. But that attitude has developed, has generated, and quality continues to fall. Quantity goes moving up and up without quality. So this open eyes sleeping, I am calling it open eyes eyelid sleeping, has destroyed our systems. So people have certification and everything. And that's the reason I'm trying to tell certification is not final answer. Certification is not final answer because certification is done by another person, third party or whosoever, who is also maybe not sure about quality. Though they certified systems, they certified what we have approved for ourselves in line to their requirements, but that person doesn't make sure that you are right or your system is right. Means it's like random check they conduct. But ultimately, whether or not quality system works, it's reliable or it's not reliable, that's witnessed, that's evidenced by power of product they have. Power, I mean to say, strength and quality. If you don't have that, you have only material product, in that case, it can be clearly emphasized that this is not quality product. And if you are not quality product giver, you are not professional organizer, you are not professional industrialist, you are not professional manufacturer, and in fact, you are not a professional person. That's why I stress quality. You cannot leave me, you cannot leave my work, because you are set as my destiny. I have set you my destiny, and destiny means what I want to achieve in life. That is called destiny. And there can be many destinies for one person, for a nation, and for all others. Who can handle it? Only professionals can handle it. And here professional means engineers, because engineers are involved in manufacturing, industrialization, as well as in construction and other parts or other sectors of life. So engineers can handle that successfully. And engineers are always backbone of society, to develop society. Whatever branch of engineering, every branch of engineering is responsible for economic development, development of status, development of requirements, do more and more and more. And I say engineering communities means sciences community also are included. Science and engineers can be called together, scientists, engineers, or whatever. So we say we require to establish quality system, and quality, in fact, permanently. It's quality that is required. I can say quality system is also a part of quality. So we require to establish here permanently here in our professions, also in other walks of life. That's what my argument is about, my proposition about. I don't simply accept something or anything because someone says it is. I have to experience that, and experience very important these days, that have quality control performing applications, and that's what's important is. So for that purpose I say quality engineering and coordination engineering are very important subjects or topics or issues which cannot be described particularly for some, because this applies everywhere. Quality engineering and coordination engineering, these topics apply everywhere in life, and we have to be very sure about that. So it may be working designs, it may be manufacturing, it may be construction procedures, or we can say whatever else we deal with. Quality engineering is a must. Coordination is a must, because without coordination nothing can be done. Without communication nothing can be done. Without information nothing can be done. Or whatever we say, one after another, whatever are required. So we have to continuously do our exercise of assessment for working and for quality goals in all works whatever we have, and that approach is a must, and we cannot run away from that. That approach is very important one. We say we have to understand, हमें सोचना होगा कि हमें क्या करके देना है. हम खाली लोगों को कुछ बेवकूफ़ बना सकते हैं समय के लिए, लेकिन हमारा सामान अच्छा नहीं है तो हम भी जानते हैं सामान अच्छा नहीं है, फिर भी हम उसको बेचना चाहते हैं क्योंकि हम अपना नुकसान नहीं करना चाहते हैं, और बेचारा कस्टमर तो फंस जाता है. लेकिन हमें ये सब भूलना होगा. हमको आगे बढ़ने के लिए सब कुछ करना होगा. हमें अपने आप को चेंज करना होगा. कब तक चलेंगी बनी बनाई बातें, कब तक चलेगी भ्रमजाल की दुनिया. हमें बाहर निकलना होगा. अगर हम अपने आप को आगे बढ़ाना चाहते हैं, अपने देश को आगे बढ़ाना चाहते हैं, तो हमको क्वालिटी को मेंटेन करना होगा. जब तक क्वालिटी मेंटेन नहीं होगी, गुणवत्ता मेंटेन नहीं होगी, हमारा सामान कोई बाहर का लोग खरीदेंगे नहीं, और वो खरीदेंगे नहीं तो हमको बाहर से पैसा आएगा भी नहीं. ये बात भी समझनी होगी. हमको सीरियस तो होना पड़ेगा, गंभीर तो होना पड़ेगा इस परिस्थिति में. नहीं गंभीर होते तो अपना ही नुकसान करेंगे, हमारी ही बदनामी होगी. आज जो हो रहा है वही हो रहा है. दुनिया कहाँ से कहाँ पहुँची है क्वालिटी है. बहुत सी कंट्रियाँ बहुत आगे हैं, बहुत सी कंट्री आगे नहीं हैं. हमसे भी नीचे गिरे हुए हो सकते हैं. ये नहीं कह रहा कि हम ही गिरे हुए हैं. आई एम नॉट सेइंग दैट वी आर ओनली पीपल, वी आर नॉट गिविंग क्वालिटी. देयर आर सो मेनी कंट्रीज, सो मेनी सोसाइटी जनरल क्वालिटी, एंड बट देयर आर सो मेनी बेटर पीपल आल्सो गिव बेटर क्वालिटी देन अस, एंड दैट्स व्हाई आई एम सेइंग that we have to check it out. So first we should be ourselves define what we have to do. We have to define ourselves, we have to check ourselves, we have to examine ourselves, and we say, first of all we have to plan ourselves, plan and do it. We have to plan ourselves, we have to do it ourselves, we have to check ourselves, we have to improve ourselves, we have to find our own errors, we have to find where we lapse, we fall, and we drop ourselves, we have capacity, we have to drop our, we have to understand what quality we should give and what we can do and what we are giving. There should be a comparison of every one of us. Say ultimately it's not easy because we are not one person, we are many, and everybody has its own interests. People who are only interested in reputation or interested in money earning, they have different approach, while those who are determined to serve society, they have different approach. Those who want to run long run, who want to run in long run, walk in long run, like you can say long run horse or short run horse, short race horse or long race horse, that we have to define ourselves. So we can say fixed quality in Bharat, India, come what may. No excuse for concession. The concessions cannot be applied as far as quality is concerned. Concessions can't be applied because quality can be varied, that is different, but you cannot say whatever agreement is there, you cannot go below that, you can go above that. Works quality cannot be compromised, that's also true, and therefore we don't intend to compromise just in name of what? Name of fragile existing quality system, compliance formality and excuse. We cannot accept that, that's our. And that's why we say there's a chance is that quality system may fail, but work should not fail. Work's quality must perform delivered, and work quality can perform only when we are determined, we are dedicated, and we are rigid, and we have concentration on that. And this means the quality system shall be stronger, it shall grow stronger if we give quality product. Means quality system depends on quality of product and not otherwise. Even if you have quality systems and we don't care about quality, real quality in product, then that system is fragile, that's rubbish, you can say. That system is futile, it doesn't give any backup, it doesn't give any good system. We can have certificate, doesn't matter, we can post those certificates on the walls, but it won't change quality until we want to change it. This means we have to strengthen our potential of human resources. We have to have good machines on site. We have to be dedicated supervision. We have to be very strong in every act we do, whatever act we do in that. So in that professional act or non-professional act, materials we buy should be of required quality. Human resources should be well trained to do some job, because a machine should be professionally based and functional. And combination of all this is our technology apply on that. That should be good technology and reliable technology, and it should be something that it should be something that people are satisfied. And this not satisfaction of people comes from personal attitude. It comes from quality of what product you deliver. And that satisfaction is professional satisfaction, we can say. Just like the professional word we use everywhere, we have to use quality also, and quality relates to professional. No work can be done without quality. We can call quality person, quality this and quality that, quality building and this quality work and this quality diagram, this quality. It means we use it so many requirements. It depends on how do you understand that. ये बात हम समझ जाते हैं कि क्वालिटी कहाँ यूज़ की जाती है, कैसे यूज़ की जाती है, क्या होना चाहिए, क्या नहीं होना चाहिए, ये सब बातें भी समझनी जरूरी है। खाली ये कह देना कि हम बहुत अच्छा काम करते हैं, नहीं होता है। आपको गुणवत्ता देनी होगी, दिखानी होगी, समझानी होगी, और यूज़ प्रोडक्ट अपने आप को जो वस्तु आप बेच रहे हैं उसमें होनी चाहिए। वो अगर होती है, अपने आप को गुणवत्ता होती है, तो वो आगे निकल जाता है प्रोडक्ट। और लोग समझते हैं ठीक है एक बार वो बड़ी बड़ी कंपनी से ले लेंगे, लेकिन जब देखेंगे बड़ी कंपनी का वस्तु अच्छी नहीं है तो वो उसको नहीं लेंगे, क्योंकि एक पैसा ज़्यादा देना पड़ता है बड़ी कंपनी के आइटम में, और वो भी छोटे लोगों से काम कराते हैं। मैंने जो बात समझा है अब तक कि आउटसोर्सिंग की जाती है और एक तरह का सब कॉन्ट्रैक्ट वेंडर को दिया जाता है। बाजार से संबंध बनवाया किसी जो उसको लेके अपनी स्टील लगा के बेच लो, ऐसा हो रहा है, और वो क्वालिटी नहीं होती। बाद में आप 10% डिस्काउंट दे दीजिए, 15% डिस्काउंट दे दीजिए, फ्री होम डिलीवर दे दीजिए, उससे कुछ नहीं होता है। वो एक बार धक्का खा जाएगा, 2 बार धोखा खा जाएगा, लेकिन सारी ज़िंदगी कोई धोखा नहीं खाएगा। यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट वी कैन चीट पीपल वन टाइम, फर्स्ट टाइम, सेकंड टाइम, थर्ड टाइम। नो वन इज फूल हु गेट cheated all time throughout life. We'll either change our manufacturer or trader or whatever. We'll find it. But fortunately, unfortunately, you can say we don't have many options, whatever. Now we have to elect between many bad qualities. The best one called bad means quality is not quality even if it's not at par required. Because that's very difficult, very important point. And so then what we should do, and that's point is we have to say system is not important. Product quality is important, if we can say. Previously it was understood that system is more important than quality, but time has told that no, there is a red line that we have to go. Can we bring working environment to quality, and that's required working environment to quality and coordination requirements. If yes, so how to now? So there are certain red lines that we have discussed before also. We'll keep on discussing them together, but question is not here. Question is something else. We have to link all this to you can say coordination and engineering. Coordination engineering that we call, which everybody knows, but it's coordination engineering, meaning we know, but we do not know reality of coordination. Coordination and technical word, engineering word, or scientific word is very important. Everyone cannot understand that. जो भी coordination करते हैं, संचार हम करते हैं, समन्वय हम करते हैं अभियंत्री वर्ड में, और योजनाओं पे वो हर व्यक्ति को समझ नहीं आएगा, उसी को समझ आएगा जो उसको जानता है, उसके बारे में जो समझता है और उसकी बात कर सकता है. Only then we can say coordination is very important. Only those people who are involved in profession, who understand sciences, involved in works, and they can understand what's coordination, how it is working. Engineering people know it, engineering knows it, and because coordination, that's why I'm calling it coordination, engineering, a part of engineering itself it is. Though it's not defined, it's not subject, topic, something, it's not, you can say a kind of formality, but it's used, and if you don't, maybe you use it, you don't realize it's coordination. That can happen because communication contains many coordinations. Sometimes we can't call it coordination, but it is coordination. On projects, coordination is very important, and coordination travels on communication medium, and that's why it doesn't fly in air. So we can say communication is also very important in that case. So coordination engineering is based on communication itself, and we have to deal with projects, and we have to deal with engineering and engineers, and that's why we can say for reliable quality engineering works delivery is a professional note. It is, though it's not a note, but I'm saying a professional note because I keep on what I think about this. I'm not saying I copy it from some book or somewhere. I don't want to copy. My mind itself is a book and a copy, and it gives me information to write something. I think on that, what happened, why happened, and I try to write. I try to write my errors and my correct work, and all that we have to write, because errors also your teacher and good work is your to guide. You can say errors happen in life, and nobody can say I'm error free. If somebody says I'm error free, then it's the mind of that person. I don't know, such people are still available. So I am saying is reliable quality engineering works. I'm talking of the delivery, and reliable, you know what's meaning of reliable. If you don't, I'll try to reflect it again. That safety it should have, service it should have, and durability it should have. All these three are mixed together to define minimum reliability, and there exists no limit to higher end. So when I talk of reality, I talk of safety. Safety not only in work action, safety in product, use of product. And you can say service means service that you work somewhere, or service that product which you deliver, your baby, your work baby, you can call it work baby, that work baby which is sold in market, that should be, they should have all parameters. Now just like I said, safety and also service, this product whatever you sell, it should successfully perform function which you are intended to be filled in it. So that's point we can say is done. So then after that is durability, which means whatever life manufacturer has given to that, or claim that for 5 years or 10 years or 1 year or 2 years, whatever, which should be comfortably done, confident, and which should be reliable life itself. Durability we call it. So we can say safety plus serviceability plus durability. All these, at least, if you can add more parameters, but at least these one equal to reliable product. And when I say reliable, this means I have trust in that product based on experience of using that product. And I can again and again buy that product, think to buy that. I think to buy that only because I hope and I feel that product works. But that situation, that state in all products is absent. And that's the point that I have to come to you to talk to you. Actually, I'm not finding people talking very often in this connection. I can say with confidence that there will be very few people inclined to confer with or share information about quality, about coordination with public. Because in education itself, coordination is not valuable, communication is not valuable. Other subjects are there which as used to be before also. So now that's the only reason that I elected myself after viewing and observing worsening state of quality in our country, and also it can be extended to many countries without any problem, because there is no question of which country I am talking about. It is question of public, it is a question of quality, it is a question of, you should not have been deceived by those manufacturers who are greed, having avaricious nature, they want to earn more and more, and there's no end to earning, but they don't say that there is no end to quality. I am going better improvement, doing improvement in this quality system, and give more better product than I claim for. That does not exist. It's like befooling people. Just like for sometimes somebody says on price, oh, it's $4.99. What's difference to $4.99 and $500? There's no difference. But there's no $4.99. This means there is a demonstration of something which can change your eye view, and that's what I'm trying to say. The reason is I have to interfere with you in your non-quality attitude, in your non-successful coordination attitude. Coordination is a part of life. समन्वय के बिना जिंदगी नहीं चल सकती है, संचार के बिना जिंदगी नहीं चल सकती है, गुणवत्ता के बिना जिंदगी नहीं चल सकती है। चलेगी कुछ समय के लिए फिर गिर जाएगी, वो भी तो नहीं होना चाहिए। That is very important point we have to talk about. Engineering is related to coordination, is related to quality, is related to quantity, and is related to technology, and is related to whatever else. अदरवाइज वी कैन नॉट डू इट. गुणवत्ता होनी चाहिए, संचार माध्यम होना चाहिए, समन्वय होना चाहिए, तकनीक होनी चाहिए, और सबसे ज़्यादा इच्छा होनी चाहिए कुछ सही करने की, जो शायद perhaps it has gone somewhere to unknown destinations, and those destinations we have to find address of. And that is what I am inclined to share with you, whatever lowest profile knowledge I have, I earned. Because there are many people much more intelligent, much more powerful, much more advanced than I am. So I should say, I shared with last time many projects experience in my life, and I discussed with you. For example, this is plate 1. I'm just trying to reflect my experience. I already told you that this is a project available. This was done in 1986, 1997, and it was done in Qatar. You can see it's written clearly. I taken this picture through Google Earth, and this is Amsalal, Qatar Boys Preparatory School, which had about 5,000 cubic meter of RCC in those days in 1986-87, M30, M35 or M25, 30, I think exactly remember. And RCC of that time, based on ordinary design method or working design method, you can say, it is having 14 rooms. I remember this school, 14 rooms with 2 laboratories, physical chemistry and chemistry laboratory, workshops, and it had, you can say, assembly hall, or you may call it very big area, assembly hall, workshop, and also classrooms, laboratories, and mosque or administration area, which is generally provided in every structure. This is that place, and for me it was a learning time because I was too young from engineering viewpoint, not otherwise. I was in 86, I was about 30 years age, and which cannot be said very advanced stage, because before that I had experienced, I worked in Libya also before coming to this project, and I worked there also for 5 landscaping projects, hard landscaping soft in 5 schools in Doha itself. I worked for about 1 year in 5 schools. So in Qatar, or first GCC country, this was my second project, and before this country I was in Libya for about 2 years, where I worked on self-motivated projects, electrical supply company, it was electrical construction company where I worked, and I shared my work in planning, in designs, in, you can say, construction of projects, RCC construction, other construction foundations, and for a long time I was there in Sirte, Qatar, Sirte, Libya, which was army base, and we had to work on standby diesel power station, and we did that successfully. I'll sometime else talk of that because I don't have photograph of that. I can share with you some image or some self-drawn files, self-drawn details. We'll discuss later on. I'm just trying to set myself in only this. If you like to see, I can show you those sketches of which I drew for that project later on. Here is then, I can say, important point is we have to discuss this, and this is that project I'm talking about. I learned a lot on this, how quality can be checked, what are specifications, what are designs, how was communication done in that time when there was no electronic system. There was not even anything, you can say, you have to type in an ordinary way on typewriters. Means first you have to write manually using pencil or pen, and then to give some typist who used to type that, then you have to check it and again correct it and give back to type. Like this, you can say, in 1 or 2 or 3 stages the documents could be completed, and of course you used to take time, and then you send me quite a long time consumption. in those activities, though we have improved that system not because of computers, but it was done that time. I had to do myself all manually. You can say initiation, or you can say starting work, taking over works from clients and doing that, and doing all formalities required on contracts. Whatever formalities are, the conditions say you have to do that. Planning, bar chart, quantification, or whatever else you can say, you have to do all manually. Quantity surveying, specification understanding, specification investigation or scrutiny, you can say, what we have to buy, what to buy. And that was all manual experience, physical experience, and that added to my strength, you can say. If you don't have strength like that, if you don't have physical activity like that, your knowledge has to move in physical terms. You cannot learn anything, and that is very important point we have to see. But to understand that point clearly from many point of views, many viewpoints, not simple one or two. Life moves like that, otherwise it's very difficult to maintain yourself. And that's why I just pose it again and again to you, because I contributed a lot to this project along with my staff and my seniors. Collective responsibility, you can say, collective efforts of technology understanding, or you can say collective efforts of coordination and collective efforts on site for doing that job. And always a group works, execution group, consultancy group, or design group, you can say. And of course, your own people, all jointly work, and we can say this was a university for me in that case, that I learned for about whole construction of this in that young age. And that construction, I think, still exists because I am using Google, so it exists and I've seen many times. I cannot guarantee anything that I did quality work or no, because at that time I did not know everything, but we were forced to do that because of consultants very strong, not like Iraq consultants, but of course reasonably you can say they were good consultants, British consultants, and I can name it, no problem, Qatar Consultants Group. I don't know whether they exist now, but they were good as far as work is concerned. So I spent about 1.5 years, though it was 1.5 years, and I successfully completed structures and many other items, boundary wall, substation, guardhouse, and septic tanks, whatever in those days were there. So we did that job independently. And independently, I mean to say, we was directly supervising that. We directly did that without having some subcontractor. And I took lot interest in that, concentrating on designs, concentrating on coordination, making requests for all materials, making requests whatever it is, and making some drawings required, like shop drawing, working drawings, whenever this was a conflicts, interacting with all subcontracting people, interacting with all others, and also having conferences with our consultants, having long discussions in regular meetings with all parties, understanding contracts, or you can say also helping in, if I had more time, with bidding work. So you can say a reliable experience, of course, in the young age, and that benefited me also because I understood contracts, I understood specifications, which were standard one as well as particular one. Likewise, in those days we had Qatar National Building Code, Qatar National Building Specifications. Generally it was called QNBS, and we had to refer to that all time, and our contracts also refer, our conditions also refer to that, specifications refer to that, and we have detailed specifications we have to discuss all time. What's written Qatar Building Specifications, Qatar National Building Specifications, we had to refer from that time whenever this discussion. And of course, specifications are always very reliable, particularly if those are elaborated one. Big volumes, you can say, not one small book, big volumes of this and that, all disciplines and all sub-disciplines. So structure was one, there were so many others I have already explained. This was one plate, and I still remember some problems there on site and exist everywhere. So my dear friends, purpose of this talk is to share with you what actually happened, I learn. Now, it's not possible to write each and every experience in book form, but because of video we can at least speak, and those who are interested to know something, they can share that. It's up to you, not up to me. I'm doing my job. I'm doing my job to my satisfaction, which should give your satisfaction. And satisfaction means you should know what are facts. And I'm going to, I still remember some good experiences in that, bad experiences both. And good experience that you had to learn what procedures were. What were procedures? You had to know procedures means management or organization procedures of this as a contractor, and how it was used to, how these were performed as engineer or resident engineer by consultants, as well as how subcontracting work goes on or petty contracting work goes on. All these were learnt. I still reflected all those in my one book published in 96, which I started in 1992. It was named Building Practice, and my acts which I did in your, you can say, Iraq and in Libya and in here in Qatar, about you can say up to age of 30, I think up to 88 I was 33, up to age of 33 or 34. Whatever I could learn from field, I tried to reflect that onto that writing. Maybe it was not very excellent for everyone, because it was based on reality, and there were so many sketches added into that, and particularly many sketches from this project also were given that time black and white, and of course colored it was, but as printing is concerned it was not possible, so we just kept it black and white. Many plates I used to call them, and this was, you can say, learning stage for me as beginners. Structural engineering beginner, you can say, that time. Construction and structural engineering, just there's a difference of understanding among the structural engineers itself. There's a structural design part, there is structural work part, and I'm talking of structural work part or structural construction part, because framing is a structural construction, is always questionable. And for example, it's a 18 meters span in assembly hall. 18 meters span is not small. It was not small in those days, a working stress method, but details were clear and we had no question on that, and we could do that successfully. That was a remarkable one, 18 meters of span. Same way others, I typically read that, I typically understand that typical span to span or column to column was 5 meters. And 5 meters is quite reasonable on such a project, because you have to provide space also, widened space. And 5 meters is quite reasonable, even if it's continuous, because maybe you take out 1 meter for columns or center both, or it shall be even then 4 meters, clear span, and which is good one as far as public is concerned, students are concerned, movement is concerned. And likewise we can say it was good learning project. I did not know all items at that time, but I had to learn, and we have to, and learning has no end, Your college, your university cannot give you end, they can give you only start, nothing else. So we go to next one, and that is about break 2, which is also very interesting one. And this is a, as I explained before, this is Baghdad, Iraq area, adjacent to Conference Palace, which is called in Arabic language Kassar Mutamarat. Kassar Mutamarat means Mutamarat is conference, and Kassar is palace. So Kassar Mutamarat or Conference Palace, I was there in 1982 to 83, and in charge of, I was a construction in charge, or you can say, so it was a subcontract, and I was working for subcontract. That company, subcontract, Eurodec and Associates, they got contract from Jordan company, United Engineering, our main contractor, and we were out of many subcontractors, one of many subcontractors, doing concrete work in January, February, March, and up to October, November, etc. Cold weather conditions in early months of year. It froze us, but we did lot work in daytimes, using marine plywood and timber, using jacks, using scantlings. We did lot of homework, and we used to get steel fabrication based on BOQs or whatever you can say, details, PBS. Lot learning experience how work is done with about 55 carpenters there. At that time, 55 carpenters on a small structure, high rise was quite because you must have working space for people. So it was good experience also, though it was not very extensive work, not main contract. But whatever it is, work was done, and we had to learn from that. Many disputes happened there also, but that is different. I had also been caught there on some misarrangement of surveying. Column was outright rejected, and we had to demolish that. We had to remove that column, work after concreting, and save happened with one wall, which you can say bulged, or which came out by opening sides. That was another problem. Except these two problems, I did not find any other problem there. And these were resolved safely because mistakes are done in sites, and in construction you cannot simply say it is one person mistake. There may be many people involved, and this was, we had to meet one big slab which having drop beams as well as lifts, core and shear walls, and all fair face work. Of course, fair face is not easy to do. We had to check, and lift banks were there. Lift bank, I am saying, it is 3 lifts combined. It can be called lift bank and RCC. Well, not brickwork here we do in our country. It was quite good experience. In fact, I learned from there practically. I didn't learn in theory, but in practical, how work was done and how it can be done better, how speed can be enhanced. Because on this building we learned pouring full height in go, say 4-meter high columns and walls to both, and interfaces were there at, you can say, 2.7 meters, 2.1 meters high, door heights. In some areas there were fascia, and then we had to do work in lifts also in that case, because we had to do fascia work, then we had to do upper work. Like even in some areas there was no fascia, so we had to do full height pouring, and we had to bifurcate it slab in 2. So we had to do this first and then that work, and for one slab for 21 days cycle was given. It's not easy to attain at that time. So I'm trying to reflect how did we work, and we worked successfully, of course. Worked successfully in this plate as well. And the quantity as far as is concerned, I'm not sure about this, but because you can see it is a big building and we had to do many hundreds cubic meter for one slab. Let's say 500 cubic meter for one slab. And 500 cubic meter has to a repetition of 21 days cycle. So let's say it's 20 stories, so 20 into 5, you can say 510,000 10,000 cubic meter in the structure of tower itself. And then there's cores, you can say okay, 10,000 to 12,000 maybe, 13,000 maybe, and there was below quantity already done, many thousands that too. So it was good, let's say 25,000 cubic meter in this building could be. And those days 25,000, though I didn't do all. I joined a tower, so I can't take credits for others in this account. We had site located batching plant there from United Engineering Company, Jordan, site batching plant, and these resources were okay, good for progress. And in subcontract we were provided some conditions that they will give us ready-made concrete. We had to take care of what material were given to us or could, and we had to take care of human resources. We had to take care of work done, supervision, qualities while it was done. And in fact you can say our was item rate based on labor coefficient. You can say human resources coefficient based work. And there were some problems on this later on, but if you go to next one, and that is this name of this site which I told you, this is Dar Al Thawra Press Complex, Baghdad. You may don't consider with this because I am writing name below this plate, number above this plate. So you can say that project, a group of projects adjacent to Conference Palace in Baghdad in 1982-83. This was Dar Al Thawra Press Complex, Baghdad. It was constructed in 1980 to 1984. I could not correct this. I am sorry. It is 1984 and not 1994. I will correct it later on. I forgot this. And this is a snap of a processing plant. A processing plant. This is very important project for me. It was important because I could learn a lot from this, much more than I could learn from some other projects. This is more important, and I was there on this project in 1990. And at the end of 1999, I joined, and I worked there for 3 years approximately on one site, and this was big site. That you can say coverage of that site was about 2 kilometer by 1.5 kilometer. So we have to work a lot on this, and this is now says that it's called ethylene plant, located Royce, constructed in 1999-2004, and it had about I'm sorry, this is not 10,000, an error. It's 100,000 cubic meter SCM based concrete. SCM stands for supplementary cementing material, which can be named PFA, that's pulverized fuel ash, fly ash, or it's very called GGBS, means ground granulated blast furnace slag, or you can also call microsilica and many as more. We generally, I noticed there that where major portion of concrete, major blocks were there, massive blocks or thick elements were there, 70% replacement of GGBS was done. 70% replacement of OPC by GGBS. It was done in that temperature up to 50 degrees Celsius, varying from 10 to 15 degrees, so that impact of heat should not degrade concrete. You can say temperature should not rise immediately, and to avoid that, supplementary cementing materials are added by replacing cement, which, as I said, PFA, GGBS or MS, whatever. And I got to know that according to document specifications was low setting concrete, or low shrinkage concrete, you can call it. Setting means shrinkage, and it comes only from that. So we have to learn first of all technical aspect only, then we can say. And coordination includes technical aspect, don't forget that. Coordination is that part. So in this project there were so many elements, we can say, where to conclude. And now we go to this plate. I'll come back to other points. Let me go to this. I put a sequence. This is process part of this plate 5 gives process area for same project, same plant. And you can see in this process area there are many equipments available, many areas are available. You can see these roads inside, and if you see in certain parts there is there's cracking compressor, the cracking system, or you may say also wash water system. So many systems are available there, and it's kind of many groups of machines area. And also you can some water body, it's called seawater basin. Also you can some water body which is called lagoon, and some water body that's called outfall structure. You can find so many buildings in that. Inside process area, that's for example called central control building, and also some is called electrical supply stations. That is main supply stations and sub main supply stations like that. And then there's a huge work of piping and pipe racks. You can say piping and pipe racks, and there are so many steel buildings in same area. Steel building means having equipment indoors to protect from impact of weather. Likewise, you can say there's another part of this one which is not seen in this, that's administration area and warehousing. And this is only process part, in which are also of utilities available, multitude of utilities, and you can say that off sites also. So it's you can say for me it was also a learning site. Means by chance I got many chances which I could not get otherwise in that age, and it was really work experience. You have to deal with coordination, you have to deal with office engineering. When I say office engineering here, means I'm project office engineer. I had responsibilities for doing everything technically. If other engineers got clashes from site or some discrepancies, I had to take care of that in formal way based on the advices of engineers on site. And there were many engineers on site, not one, not too many, and about 35 foremen on site. So you can see the size of this project. And it was a good one because we had to use concrete, we had to use structural steel, and we had to use all that a part of major activities. And then I was not manager there, I was just the support for system, but I took major interest and I had to learn. That's why I took it on my personal basis. So that project only can teach you, imagination cannot teach you. Until you have project exposure, you cannot be said that I've experienced. This experience really counts. That's why I say in this project, I have written some notes here also. You can start. It is a process area ethylene cracking plant located at Saptavi, constructed 1994 as far as I know. And there are process buildings and process areas in this. There's buildings in offsites and central control building, electrical substation buildings. I can say that RCC foundations, structure steel superwork superstructures, superstructure for all equipment buildings. You may say all equipment buildings with necessary sheeting. Of course, compressor, tabletops, RCC tabletops, pipe racks, RCC foundations, and structural steel superstructures. The process area covers all process piping, process buildings, and process circulations, we can call it. All these were there, and therefore it was important. And also it was there, you can say, process area covers all process pipings, process buildings, and process circulations, seawater basin you may say it can be called. Seawater basin also located within this area. All equipment units are located within this area, and you may say also we can call it that. All utility, all include electric substations, storage area, flares, and also flare tower, and utility services involving all pipe types in many thousands kilometers. Soils of all sections provided along with many culverts, such as box culverts, etc. Internal services roads many kilometers, paving all over areas where no roads provided. All areas where surfacing is soil, gravel fill duly compacted, provided for protection of equipment from soil erosion. And more than 500 manhole units. I don't exactly remember now how many was. I personally dealt with shop drawings and all studies in these marinates manholes. These units provided among all utilities such as catch basins, drainage manholes, and many other classes of chambers. So that's one. Unit, and this is also processing unit, and also in some other, this is here we can say there are so many buildings in this area which are very important. Central control, this is all process area, and there are some buildings here in this process area we call off-sites and utilities, and here it is on-site or wherever processing goes on, that's on-site. And this is having very foundations, major foundations, massive blocks, independent footings, likewise strip footings. So many are there depending on what building it is, and that's why there is compressor area here. In the compressor area is a crack gas compressor, as ethane compressor and propane compressor. The seawater basin, which we'll discuss just now, in the electric substation buildings, likewise. And such tanks are there, major tanks, and like many gases are involved to be stored in that. And there's seawater basin here. There is a water lagoon here, and of course, outfall chamber is here. So this is what's this. A warehousing here, and you can say admission block here. Likewise, this just for information. And what's written here is process area, ethylene cracking plant, located again say what's building process area. I have told you what actually was very limited contents are given, not full. So you can say also what I'm trying to say in this case. You can say process buildings and process area means you have to deal with buildings while you construct something, and process buildings are very important, which contain here it happens because of in process area particularly where is taken about blast. Blast are not written here, but it is very important. Blast means where there's some fire, some explosion during processing stage. They can this blast can impact you on your structures and everywhere, and because of chemical process flow, there can be chemical fire as well. You can say because of chemical presence, you can say it can break out into new kind of fire, and that hamper the question is you will lose people, lose resources and everything. So blast and non-blast buildings you can say here, and process here generally buildings are blast building, and up to 200 meters this I can say blast building, 210 meters something, and going beyond that 200 to 600 it is called intermediate buildings, or you can say blast as I said in 200 meters of blast resistant building, then blast resilience building up to 600 meters, and beyond that the blast non-blast building you can say. So just for the information I explained that, we can refer to that one. That the building process buildings and process area is very important one, as I said, and particularly it was all field area, in sand backfield area, desert field backfield area after as a part of preparation of this site, preparatory work of this site. You can say how to do preliminary work before doing main work of this is called existing line, you may say, or you can say preparatory works, you may call it site preparation, you may call it whatever you can call. So there was no question of existing services due to that reason, and it was a land claimed area, a kind of filled with sand or with desert fill in layers, and you of course it takes time. This is low level area because of sea, and we have to raise it up to some level platform you can call it, or plinth you call it. So this process area is buildings which are all blast building. There's no way you can otherwise. There's no RCC structure at mandate. You cannot otherwise. That should be RCC structure. And then you have the buildings in offsites, and offsites a little distant from, or you can say outside field of requirement of blast resistant structural design. So these offsites, and there was central control building also from a control of whole plant was conducted to the design. All the complete blast building, RCC building. In the blast doors and windows in that thick RCC building as having all internal computers or race floor system accommodative in that to control all plants cathodic protection or other items, whatever it is. You can say it's a complete control there with having many other details also there. So central control building was named, and then there were electrical substations, main substations, divisionary substations, likewise. Not exact one means depending on what was required. Electrical substations and the RCC foundations. And RCC foundations foundation of all types. It could be independent footings, it could be combined footings, it could be some other way stiff foundation or draft foundation, or whatever you can say was done. But because nothing was high rise, there was no high rise. Even administration building was double story only. Central control buildings were full height, double height you can say, but it was a single story. Same way warehouses, ordinary one, steel structure. Likewise there was amenities building, it's very small single height. And wherever guardhouse single height, and you can say whatever attached buildings are there, a house pumping unit or whatever, double height but single story. So we can't take into consideration requirement of seismic forces or because wind forces. If it's are all low-lying structures or low-level structures, we have to be very much concerned about this. Means what sort of the bill we have to consider which buildings are blast resistant and which buildings blast resilience, and which buildings are non-blast. We have to say that one. That's why if by planning of such plants are done, we keep off real process area, our you can say administration area or warehouse area, where off sites, and likewise we have to go through So we cannot congest everything at one place because of land requirement, but we have to see safety, because in such plants where evaporation or where gases come out and they spread in air, if not controlled, they can result in fire. So that's why I'm saying that, because foundations were done, just like massive block was done for compressed foundations. Steel structural steel works were done by having fabrication on site, or assembly rather than fabrication, assembly on site, all built up, all independent members were delivered, and they was to be erected. So we did erection work, of course, there in those areas, whatever it may be, buildings are, this may be, you can say, all other areas where we got structure still delivered for erection purpose, pipe rack or pipe carrying areas, you can say miscellaneous types of works. So with that, in those buildings, in steel shed buildings or RCC buildings, all activities, and tabletops, as we always say, tabletop is a very important item, because these are very heavy concrete members, and fixed at elevation, somewhere reasonable elevation, for purpose of water distribution, which cannot be called efficient one if you don't force people. And how to do that, force people, and myself, I am not in charge of site, but in engineering I did that. Engineering branch of site, which takes care of designs, which takes care of coordination, which takes care of shop drawing, and all whatever are not done by subcontractors is not done by others. I have to fix certain personnel, or you may say, if not every day, it can be meanwhile, many whiles, you can use this as system. So compressor, RCC tabletops, heavy concrete work, heavy massive block foundations, then we have stub columns and then we have about that building foundation stories. This is very important discussion in that case, because thick elements and massive blocks are going to cast, and what procedures are, some details were not shown in drawings at that time, and we had to consider those details in all respects. Each every respect we have to do that. So we can say, for example, I was in charge of this foundations of compressor units, massive block. Then we had to do thick columns, and also we have to do then top slab on which supports machine would provide home for coordination, and we cannot do anything every time. Some knowledge is essential. So what's the compressor tabletops? The beam was very complicated, top beam, foundation very complicated, but we did that successfully. Then we have pipe racks and RCC foundations, pipe racks and structural steel superstructures. Can be precast also, it can be concrete, no problem. It depends on what you are going to do. That's designer's choice, or that's what we can say important one. Then we have here process area covers all process piping and process buildings and process circulations, and this all are elements which are installed, which are used in process area. Piping is very important, process buildings are very important, and process calculations also all part of parts of process area work. We cannot simply say, because this is all done in responsive fashion, and this is very important. We have to say all equipment used are also located within this area. What equipment we have to use, we have to employ, and then we can also include electrical substations for power distribution, as I said earlier, in different levels, and these should be. Hence, all equipment used are located in this area, and also include electrical substations, storage tanks, flat tower, all this is shown to you. Fresh towers down. You can see here. Then we can say next plate, and that is about, I think the plate first one is gone, no? Yeah, we're talking of utility services, and it's very, very important item. Utility services, when you call it, means all pipe work below ground, maybe above ground as well. Below ground, we're talking, we have to use drainage system, sewer system, gas system, or some other system. Below ground, you have to supply water. It's also there can be chances of complications. Those complications are avoided because if this is not avoided, it's not continued. Means we don't care of that. We shall even burn our pump without knowing what problem that has. We can say utility piping was such here that so many clashes happened among those services in comparison to, or if you consider foundation of that area. In many cases, designs were revised, in many cases coordination was changed, and you can say humans, I think. So we have to say utility services, which is a very complicated part, electrical service, water supply, sewer service, catch basins, drainage, there were ductile iron pipes, GRP pipe, GRV pipe, and also concrete pipes, stoneware pipes, but was not included. And it was also very important from God's point of view that I had to prepare. I don't know how many technical queries for this project. You can say long list of technical query, long list of technical query, long list of method statements, long list of every activity that we have to do. And that was of course interesting. I can say another learning platform for me from technical organization viewpoint. And that is very important, means technical query, site technical query, engineering query, method statements, clarifications, shop drawing, proposals. And I did one point, I still remember on this project one part, when I talk of this refinery one. There were many, many parts of drawings given by a consultant or designer, which shows actually locations of all machines, and in this area this is required, in that area that's required, as our in contractor used to tell us. And that what happened in meeting, if you are not sure, you cannot answer. There's some, you can say always some risk. I have to add that also into that. These services, for these services, I still remember we prepared more than 400 sketches, and that person was looking directly for this work. That person did not even know how much work was done in technicalities in query form, and we were happy that at least we are learning something. We were learning something at that time. So we can say swale is also a kind of services, though it's in concrete sections, varying sections. It's like a concrete structure. It's all having, you have it's a swale. We have box culverts through underground, many culverts like that. Swales of sections provide, along with many others, many cultures such as box culvert. Internal services roads, many kilometers as shown to these roads, is a very important item, and subsequent. So we can see utilities and swales. We reach the internal services roads. So many kilometers. I showed you in that photo. Crosswise, x-axis, y-axis, many videos available, and we had to search this information. So when I completed my job as office engineer there, compiling all records, I could be thought of leaving for going back. Am I Palestine civil engineer? Now, also we have to take care of all that is paving all over areas where no roads provided. We have to take care of that, and we have to take care of gravel fill and soil erosion, which are linked to water. So we can say are also paving all over areas where no roads provided, and all areas where surfacing is soil and gravel fill duly compacted, provided for protection. Protection of equipment from soil erosion during wet or breach, high breach. And also we can say all areas where bridges are provided. In that case, we can say then manholes were very important item. Nobody knows what to do. Nobody knew, but I thought of what to do. Then I said, okay, let us consider each project, each manhole a project, and there were more than 300 manholes minimum on one site. We said, okay, we have to do it. So one goes on and on. So these are points that I've discussed, and we discussed length in this, and I have played 6 here. It's a swimming pool. You can say it's swimming pool plate. You can see the swimming pool here. Sorry, not swimming pool, I'm sorry, sea water basin. I used to have a swimming pool because I constructed a swimming pool. I think I should take my. I'm feeling cold now. I don't know why. Maybe it's outside cold. 3 FPS down. Let me see your status of temperature now. Let me see your status of temperature here. I'm feeling cold. This means something should be problematic. And let's see how it works. This now it goes on. You can say here, for example, Haryana. Now it's 1 degree down. That's the reason. When I started on 3:30, it was 12 degrees. Now it's 11 degrees, and humidity is 96%. Humidity is 96%. Really, it's wonderful. And also, internal is 54%. Day temperature is 16 degrees, showing 4 mm daytime. Night time showing 6 degrees. So So I'm feeling something. Well, no problem. Let it be. Let it be. And if you want to see this temperature, I will have what to do with that. Waste of time. Just come to point and discuss about this. Let me wear my coat first. It's better other than getting cold. Better. How let me do this? Cold. I can't tolerate it. Really, I can't tolerate it. Okay, you go further now. It's swimming. I'm sorry. Again, I'm saying swimming. It's of course you can use it as swimming pool if you wish, but it's quite deep. You can drown in that. It's 9 meters sometimes, 6 meters sometimes down. So we have to say here that what I mean to say is this. Let's say this way. Yeah, it's here. Let's say here, and we can say so. It's likewise. What's happening? Why it's not moving? I don't know the reason for that. Okay. There's this seawater basin here, and we have to. You can see this is here 2 pipes coming in this water body. These are 7 feet or 2.1 meters. You can see 2 meters dia, 2 pipes. This carries water from sea, which is about 1 kilometer or 1.5 kilometer from here. That is 2 kilometer from here, and that will continuously supply water to this body, this reservoir. And this reservoir shall, after pumping, probably maybe some treatment, which is maybe in that pump house, supply water to those areas where equipment are installed, vibratory equipment or others, so should have certain temperature, and cooling is required for that to reduce heat impact on those. So cooling purpose is there, and that cooling can be in 1 cycle, 2 cycle, or repeat cycle, or after treatment you can say recirculation of can be done. And that's sole purpose of that seawater basin. Quite big size, it's not small one. And if you go and see what is its attributes, say or property, seawater basin included within plant, and this was constructed in 2001. Very significant structure called seawater cooling basin with massive plan dimensions, open reservoir, quite deep it is. Structure is meant to receive seawater from underground major pipe mains, store water, cool water, and then transport seawater to processing required areas. After utilization, used seawater is transported back to outfall chamber for final disposal. Seawater can be used repetitively depending on process designs and located industries, processing industries within plant area. The depth of this basin is 5 meters to 9 meters. Its plant size is 100 meters by 50 meters approximately. It's not exact, I'm just giving you informatively, probably it is. Water tightness tests conducted in compliance with BS 8007. Long time, very difficult test. There are some problems also in this test, but I'm not going to discuss that now. And deep excavation and thick slabs work is first item. You have to excavate in depth, whatever depth there is, low-lying area, what depth was there, excavation was there. You have to excavate, then you have to prepare that ground for formation level, and you have to compact and all that. If FDTs we know, in that case we can stand is about. The thick slab construction was required. Thick slab means 100 meters by 50 meters, and you have quite big area, 5,000 square meter, 100 meters by 50 meters. You have to do, say you take 5 meters by 5 meter slab in ground, so there will be so many castings of pouring, and that is this is toe slope portion, and one in between two slope there's rampart. So deep excavation, thick slab work, RCC walls, thick slab work, and then RCC walls around in base or in panels, 10 meters depth maximum. This is panels 1, and RCC pump house construction. So that's joints to be made of silicon material, chemical material, and that's what specifications of this. So you can quantify how much it is. It's very much quantity, because when approximately you can say, I not written it, I think I forgot to write that, probably no problem, but it can be 100, we can just edge 100, no, 55,000 square meter area. If you take 40 centimeter basis slab, which is itself, you can say 5,000 square meter, 200 cubic meter, or 2,000 cubic meter, I'm sorry, 2,000 cubic meter, and you can say walls itself is 300 meters periphery, you can say forget pump house, 300 meters periphery, which is about 40 centimeter thick. So 3,000 into, sorry, not 3,000, 300, 100, 300 into 0.4, 120 square meter into depth, let's say 6 meters average, 6 meters average, so, or even say more, say whatever it is. So you can say 300 meters into 0.120 into say 7 or 8. So you can say 120 into 7 or 8 is around 10,000, 1,120 square meter into 10, 1,200 or 1,000 cubic meters concrete in that. It's good quantity. And then pump house, likewise, and quantity of water itself, you see how much is that. Let's say 5,000 square meter into 5 meters, let us keep 5 meters, or even if you keep 4 meters, it shall be 20,000 cubic meter, and 20,000 cubic meters. So 25,000 cubic meter storage of water. It's a big one, and you can say cubic meter, that is. Whatever it is, means quantity is not big issue. Here question is what to do, how to it. So we finally go for efforts and see plate 7, and this is also our work in small building, though it's a small building, but it's very important one. This is preserved documents, preserved data, electronic data outside process plant area as a standby, because if there's a crash on internal audit or internal hard disk, then you have certain documents safe, and that's inside. One was here, other was elsewhere. So not only one standby, the two standby. And in between you can see there's a small building, square one. This is the main building for storing purpose. And you can see around there's a landscape, and after that there's one, building, that's service building, having a transformer, a substation, and some other service room. And also there is water tank. You see down at left corner, there's a ground water tank, and also on the other side, right, there is another services, and this was very complicated, not in distance, but it's complicated in composition and competition, and you can say activities of charity. So I'm just saying this very important item. Qatar Petroleum, it was a client, and here very difficult work in the sense of inspections. Everything in the sense that curing is very, very controlled, and we did that. We know how to cure. Curing was not a big issue, because we had done that before also. The worry was that half people are from our country. Our countries go back to care about themselves. So it was good work. As for a small level work it is, but good one, and it's called, you know, then we have hospital project, 500 bed hospital, general hospital. Of course, main building you are looking at, it's tower portion of this, and there are so many buildings around, like OPD, like kidney, like nurses' quarters, and many more. RCC work in foundations, RCC work everywhere in basement and utility tunnels, connected to service area, and this is very important part. There was so much in this, I noticed everywhere, and good quality work, but there were so many clashes, so many problems of, or you can say, previous clashes, so many quality problems exist on that building. I'll take it later on, but I can just give you a few. There is RCC construction in all foundations, RCC construction in all floors, in all buildings, and buildings being main tower, operations, theatres, areas, kidney nursing quarters, and many more such, and widened area of infrastructures and surroundings. This is also very, very different. We will take up this issue. Well, this is your LNG, LNG and as I was a office engineer on this project in 19, as said it was 1996, I think, 95, 94, 98. LNG plant showing 4 numbers LNG tanks located at Ras Laffan, Qatar constructed, we can say. LNG plant. LNG plant, LNG, liquefied natural gas. So as in Ras Laffan, I associated with the Mid-Mac, who was a consortium member. We worked together with them on the site. It was important, in fact, these LNG tanks are, are gigantic in size, to contain 85,000 cubic meter LNG each tank. Foundation constructed of RCC. Soil improvement carried out using graded granular fill in thickness, in layers duly compacted to required FDD per, you can say it was field dry density of material received after compacting, filling and compacting, you may say granular material, graded granular material, very excellent one, good one, which could give density even more than 100%. That was very good, means there was no question of soil impact. There was no question of soil impact even after that. So we can say LNG tanks, gigantic, 85,000 cubic meter capacity, RCC foundations, soil improvement, practically graded fill, granular filled, filling, and soil improvement technique it is. Also, record of surveys, which are very important item, with heavy weight of structure and gas coming onto that. Then we can say forward if you go, we'll find after soil improvement a record of surveys which are very important because to know settlement of that area. So there's less chance of settlement because it's not clay layer. The chances are there. In that case, we can say record of surveys were conducted regularly at every stage, were weekly until whole tank structure constructed and filled. Just to know what is level, what is settlement, is it within limits of design or not within limits of design, that must be made sure. And as I was controlling records of survey, people used to come to me, what tolerance, are within tolerance or there are some variations. That was sole purpose. You can say it was kind of operational research to monitor settlement of area, involved area. So we can say that record of surveys were conducted regularly at every stage, weekly, and whole tank structure constructed and filled. Wall thickness is 800 mm, quite thick wall. Yes. Now, you can say wall thickness is 800 mm, height, tank diameter is tank diameter 65. I think it's something wrong. Okay, no problem. Let's say 65. Whatever it is now is acceptable. Height is 45 meter, 50 meters, and we say real tank is internal commitment or over commitment. In that case, wall thickness is 100 mm, height of tank is 45, real tank is the internal containment of cryogenic steel body, and which is to store LNG at minus 85 degrees Celsius. That's temperature inside tank. Top is domed. Top is domed, and called cupola. Cupola, permanent shuttering inside. No, can't remove that once it's poured. And with cantilever rack column, and above 15 meters in civil practice. We have here then you have, you can say, structural concrete of tank is pre-stressed concrete, as well as encouraged concrete, that is structural concrete. Tank is PSC, massive in nature and cast in stays as 5 meters each, and versatile, using clean. Have here then stays cast quantity to 550 meter. Walls casting, talking of wall with quick form, quick jump form. Each height is 5 meters. They were costing a slab also, wrapped slab, which we did not mention. This costing of wrapped slab is important. And the point is safety instruction. It's an interesting one just to know some statistics about that. Each stage quantity, as I said, 550 walls, carbon steel vapor barrier at floor, and we are going to now this engineering world just to know what it is, how it works. Yes, engineering world, how does it work, how shall it work, what's purpose? We have to know this in fact. Last time I talked of certain procedures which we have to do on construction, during construction or during execution stage of contract. Coordination is very complicated activity, not in a sense that it can't be done, in a sense that we have to understand what is coordination. We have to understand what is coordination, how does it apply, how does it work, and where we have to take care of this. Now, for that purpose, I had referred to you some procedures, which I will again go to that before moving on to this, because this is very detailed statement I am making, and that too is very detailed one. That is coordination process, coordination requirements, communication process, communication requirement. We have here to see what sort of concrete activity we do, and that would decide what sort of coordination we have here. In this case, I would like to reopen that note which I have and announce something as we did before going further on this issue. And that is, we have to see, actually this is my book. This was written long back, and from that only I'm going to speak out. I'm going to read, and that is Civil Engineering book. Of course, it's not a textbook, it's something related to practice, something related to what we have to do in field, and I was talked of that yesterday also. That is here. We say that I talked of bill of quantities, I talked of specifications, let us say before preparation of bill of quantity we did, and now I talked of specifications as well. I remember we talked of what the specifications are of this done. So again, I'll read that portion for convenience. And this is preparation of various building specifications, and this is that's why I can say specific part of execution requiring use of deep technical knowledge. And this, of course, right, because we are talking of how to write specifications. And knowledge, technical knowledge significance is important. We can say precisely, and bifurcating to two shall be termed, you can say general specification one is, that is very much general, and you can find every country in generally specific general specifications, and you can find different items or specifics for particular project item. And those are called specific publications. And you can call them specific publication, or you can say that is particular specifications. I think it's raining. It's rain, I'm sure. Rain, my God, rain, rain, rain. Oh yes, it's raining anyway. What to do? No way. We cannot do anything. We have two items like this, as I said, project specifications and general specifications, which I have to deal with here, and it's a very, very important item, and we have to see. You have to see these general specifications, project specifications are important one. I'm sorry to disturb because of rain. Oh my God, light is gone as I expected. It is gone. I cannot do anything. It is gone. But I go upstairs and see how it can work. Can my inverter help me, because it's dark, completely dark. Even then I say I should continue my work, and let me go upstairs and see all one. This is an important time. I was talking of specifications, general specifications, project specifications, and general specifications are very important, which are available everywhere in every country. As I said, every country has some kinds of specifications, and that is, which are referred to all time. For example, concrete specification, excavation specification, certain specifications, formwork or steel reinforcement specification, or can say you can have flooring specifications, or items that are general use are covered. It can be excavation work, it can be concrete work, it can be wood work, it can be timber work, or aluminum work, or steel work, or miscellaneous types of decoration works. There are many, many activities which are done on every building, every structure, and that's the important one. You can say these are done on every building, and that's the important point. So let me go up and see, just otherwise this will go off. It will go off. See. Yes, it is disturbing, but sometimes it's beyond controls. Well, let us see how much we can move in this. Maybe I have to close early today. No problem. Let us continue. Send the specifications of talking. I was talking specifications, general and otherwise. So I say that general specifications relate to standard specifications published by Public Works Department or government or somewhere else, or we have our job, and any other competent authority. This can be generally used, but there are project specifications which are meant for specified items and special users in contract designs to serve a special requirement of user and detailed reference to engineer's details is a must to be made in writing of that and preceding document nomenclature of item and after tender bond as a summary of all project specifications, materials required for those and source of availability etc. are given. So we are saying that some items are mentioned, its sources are also mentioned, they are very particular. It's only for guidance purpose, because nothing can be imposed on. You cannot say you take only from this manufacturer until there is specific requirement of that. So while using name of manufacturer or supplier, it must be made clear that equivalent shall also be accepted. So we can say equivalent. It's not simply this one. You cannot give any favor to anyone. So we say addition of a sentence that special materials are provided shall be used per direction and instructions of manufacturer in all cases, as some materials shall possess some time warranty for a fixed period, and also in case demonstration is required for purpose of training staff of user for purpose of procedure. How to use and maintain for his smooth functioning shall be beneficial to all for case of items execution. But whatever be included, length of writing should be given due concern, as very lengthy specifications are not preferred, because this invite boredom by reader, and who close this don't read all. Therefore, should be understood first. That's why engineers engaged in drafting or trying specifications must be very senior and experienced professionals who can assess practical use of that item description. Also communicate maximum in minimum time to make it interesting. To make it interesting, we can say make it interesting for engineers on site. Refer that every time for discussions and executions. So very easy. You can say person must be talented, communicative, technically master of subject, and of course patient. Some examples of specific items are, for example, you can say epoxy flooring or coating, X-ray room plaster, structural steel painting on surface exposed to weather, armor plates required at whatever places, and sports surfacing coverings, coatings, which may be comfort system or high standing system, engineering systems, electrical systems. When you say engineering means HVAC, electrical systems, mechanical installations in lifts, for example, plumbing, etc. Generally, services systems are designed by construction contractors based on specifications provided to contractor. Lift installation, pump installation, sports equipment, ITs these days, hardware, software, access control, security, SCADA, or we can say whatever else that has been uncovered. In general works, there is no scope in general work for such items. And because contractors involved, or specific contractor is involved in designing of that first class system, which must function in first class fashion to add to architectural engineering and structural engineering. And that is, preparation of works specification is very important part in construction projects, designs projects. And because we have these all, there can be all other, for example, in one project I experienced shelving system. In one tender I saw some auditorium chairs and all those projectors and those are not directly connected to civil engineering. But because turnkey projects are required, so sometimes we have to take care of those. This is what generally I explained about specifications. There is no limit to them, but specifications should be crystal clear. What I'm saying is specifications should contents be crystal clear. Otherwise, these can cause disputes on sites, because in item rates contract there should be no problem, but when it comes to domain of lump sum fixed price contract, it can cause problems because of misinterpretation or you have to be very specific about that. Why not? Means your specification design should not cause any dispute on works. That is basic requirement. And if this happens, it's okay. Otherwise, it's a problem. Videos and audio fell 0000, something has come only. So what I say, we have to take care of disputes. We have, just like as arbitration, everything should not go to arbitration. It's experience of a contractor, it's experience of engineer, it's experience of designer, it's experience of specifier, that they should know what should be done. We cannot all time write our way. We have to see functionality. We have to see what happens on sites, what is industrial good practice, what doesn't cause any disputes. I'm not interested in the punctuation of your specifications. I am interested in job should run smoothly. Contractor and engineer or owner should not try to deceive each other. It's job, it's project. Contractor's goal is to complete project with successful attainment, and owner's interest is to use this project to bring it to an operation stage so that its original function keeps on working. And that is a very important point we have to take care of. And if we don't take care of that, it causes an issue. So writing specification helps. There should be no ambiguity left to someone, anyone. As far as it should speak clearly, it should tell what should be done. It should not contain anything that contradicts its own or that goes against good practice or against general practice or codes. We all know what is work, how it is done. We know all items, how these are done. And we have to respect also manufacturers' statements, manufacturer specifications, manufacturer data, because manufacturers' patented item or proprietary items are their responsibility, provided conditions are maintained, working conditions are maintained, because every manufacturer disclaims that if these conditions are not maintained, it shall not be our responsibility to take warranty of this item. If these conditions are maintained, we take like that. Disclaimer is added. We have to be very careful as far as specifications are concerned, because specifications are to be complied with, and specifications means quality. That is actual quality. Description of quality. Application on job. It may be restricted, it may be unlimited, or it may be to choice of employer or engineer, or it may be to option of contractor. That must be clearly defined. Generally, it is written, it's provided that option of employer or option of engineer, this is done. In that case, contractor has to be smart enough as what can be maximum option of employer or owner or engineer, and therefore one cannot give everything. Generally, contractors call, we cannot give diamond if you demand gold, and we cannot give gold if you demand silver. It's like that, and there's nothing wrong in that. So this was just brief I had to say about specifications. And there's no end to this. We can go to converting above documents. This means, I mean to say, this is the documents. We say bill of quantity documents and the specification documents are very important one. Technical documents both are. And there's no one or no two. They are for every bill, for every building, every component of project. Converting these documents to tender documents, that's very important part. To convert it to tender documents, which is not easy job, but we have to do it. This is for every, there may be many components of a project, many buildings and many other works. We have to prepare BOQ for each one, and that's the important part we have to take care of. Converting these documents to tender documents. And in practice, tender documents comprise of tendered forms, space for contract forms, we can call it. When you see tender is there, tender or bid is there, you'll find contract document is that, contract forms in that, where price is filled and other conditions are done. Then you get there various schedules also with that, or various tables to be filled by contractor or by bidder. And bidder has to fill that and support of his to my capacity. This can be what projects they are doing, what machines they have, how many personnel they have, what's their qualifications or education. Likewise, you can say form for qualifications, form for site representatives, site superintendents, for bidder, contractor, provision for informations to tenderer. What information? A soil investigation report is also part of that. For guidance purpose, guidance to contractor. Then you can say brief description of work, brief description of work required with purpose and importance. Importance, applicability of general specifications, special specifications or project specifications, and all bills of quantities of complete tenders, complete design specifications for systems for which first class provision, installations and functioning is technical statistics, 00 all. Again, sorry for that. Maybe this video again goes down, I can't say anything. 13 FPS, also FPS is a problem. I do sometimes a problem, it's just 2 hours over and it's showing its color. So 13 FPS, 00, video and signals, audio signals, both 0, still 0. Something comes, so let's say I was somewhere here in spatial specifications or project specifications all bills of quantities of complete tender, complete design specifications for systems for which first class provision, installations and functioning of necessitated in job, inclusions of technical graphs and minute details to make contractor aware actually what's expected of it, complete technical statistics of electrical and mechanical design and functioning without leaving any doubt to tenderer, complete sets of drawings in all respects as explained before, architectural engineering, structural engineering, civil works, plumbing, in drainage, electrical, mechanical engineering, engineers details for complete proposals, bar bending schedules according to adopted codes, information felt necessary to be given to tenderers. For, for, for efficient disposal of tender being clear all what's supposed to be done, corrigendums, any other instruction to be included by engineer or owner, clarification requested by bidder, particularly. Practically, it has been observed that bidders or tenders finalize tenders at a late time, at 11th hours, and number of clarifications and checks tenderers should do are missed. Just believing what's given in BOQ would be all okay, and that lacks of technical coordination and ineffective quantity check bring priced competitive but may be due to bad fortune of appointed contractor, quantities as found during construction to be much in excess or much excessive. Contractor definitely be loser in that case on that account, and there should be no way to raise claims on lump sum fixed price. Contractor shall definitely be loser on that account, and effort shall be to prepare tenderer with great degree of accuracy is required. Engineer's best effort shall be to prepare tender with great degree of accuracy required, and its own time it should take, while tenderer should be given enough time for calculation of price for best operation or working of resulting contract, which be in interest of all parties. And then we'll take up other items later on. Because of light problem, I cannot continue in this book. So I'm just trying to just specify something that's essential for composition of technical part of tender, which is very important. If technical part is defective, there's no meaning of any other part. Technical part is very important. That's what I try to say here. And here, as I said, designs, coordinating engineering is a must on every project. Coordination means this is also coordination, as I said. You have to prepare right BOQ, you have to prepare right specifications or suitable specifications which actually are meant for this purpose, or this specification can vary prices also. We have to long list of specifications there. You can say there are hundreds of materials required on projects. You can say that. Hundreds of materials, belongings, permanent inclusions, materials and systems. And every material and every system has certain manufacturers in market all over the world. You cannot simply say you can do just by name. You have to tell them which material they have to use, or equivalent to that as well. It's general practice on many projects that maybe there's a long list of materials, or long list of vendors, or long list of systems that are defined. Options are given, sometimes given, sometimes not given. For example, you can take sanitary units, you can take plumbing items, you can take HVAC units, or you can say whatever else, even civil engineering systems, decoration items. Certain options are defined, 3 or 4 names are given. You have to use this manufacturer or this brand, or you have to use this brand. And a comparison stands there, means variations. Then our client or employee shall not like to go beyond that. We have to select from that if it's given, and that is important because it impacts on price sometimes. So that's specification, which even at time of specifying specific writing, engineer should have complete information about that. You cannot simply say one item has X price and item 0.1. You can't be in 0.9x difference. That we have to understand. It should be almost same, but there should be options. So that it's easy for contractor, for bidder to understand what is intention of engineer or employer. For example, there can be I'm just giving Kohler unit or Typhoid unit or some other. Big difference in price and big difference technology. So we must understand that there will be various systems and all. So that list of material, list of you can say systems are very important from every point of view. It can impact on your tender price, it can impact on everything. That point we cannot ignore. And that's big part of specifications, or you can say particular specification, if not general. And that's why I try to stress it, explain to you what we provide. You may say at time of designing the specification part of contract or bid, it is very difficult. First you have to, general is okay, general part is okay, there's document available. But when particular part comes, it's important to concentrate on and every item of one, because generally disputes arise because of those items. It also happens psychologically that a manufacturer who knows that my item is valuable on this bid, on this project, they will come to me only. In that case, very little room is left to contractors to negotiate with that manufacturer, because that manufacturer knows this contractor cannot go away to some other place, some other manufacturer, because my sale price is lowest. And that point should also be checked. It's very important. Just to sell or promote something, you cannot add some irrelevant items, some irrelevant manufacturers, though nobody can challenge it. You can say to high level manufacturer, you reduce your price. But that's not your job. That's not your job. Your job is to equalize, to give equal treatment to whatever materials you include in that list. That's the important item. So my intention is, my stress is that it's very difficult, it's very powerful act to make decisions on specifications when it comes to specialized items, special items. There can be about many pages, many items required, and you must have complete information of those as an engineer or as a consulting group before concluding or before integrating that material into your list or specification list. And that's why I say schedules are provided in which you have to fill which item you will prefer. If it's required, in that case, if there's no list as such, you are free to offer whatever you want. And if you want even during work, you can say, that we'll discuss later on, but I'm not just talking about tender work, bid work. Bid work is a smart work. It is not mathematical work, in fact, it's not physics, it's not mathematics, it's something that is interesting for both employer or engineer as well as contractor, and also that manufacturer who has brought its item to list. And that has been a process. You cannot simply say that list manufacturers are just sleeping. They know which project is theirs, and that is also a fact. Every Every manufacturer who has given, who he knows that after looking at list that this is my item. What happens? There are 4 or 5 manufacturers, and a contractor sends for quotation supply these items. And it goes to many agents who are dealing with everyone, every manufacturer. Certainly, those manufacturers who think this item is not mine because my price is too high, so this is directed to go to this one. That manufacturer won't quote at all. And only that one who is lowest or second lowest, they think, okay, my item, the chances, my item will be purchased on this project, and they of course care for that item. But price is a question mark there. Already loaded price will be quoted, and there will be little chances that contractor or bidder has little room for negotiations, and that's where drawback comes or demerits comes, in particularly including that list. And if you don't include that list, that's also a problem, because the contractor has a choice. Or you can say you can't even mention you can mention price of that item, but that doesn't give guarantee of quality of that. You can say, okay, I'm giving you this limited price item, and don't expect me quality except what quality is required in general conditions. And if you write quality in specifically in specific conditions, project particular condition, this should be specification. Then you are mentioning price also, and this is contradictory. In fact, you are writing you write conditions. I want this requirement, this requirement, this requirement, and this price. How it is possible? You cannot decide that. Then you leave blank price. Then you can't say prices, and that may enhance price, or you can say it may exceed your expectations. Either you accept this or you accept that. Both cannot move, and that's what we can say. It depends on experience of that engineer who is designer for specification. I call it designer also because we are designing specifications, and it's not easy job. Just like you design which steel you want to use, 415, 450 or whatever grade, and you can say which concrete grade you want to use. It impacts on cost, or which material, which type of formwork you want to use. Although it's not your concern, but use a fair face formwork you want, it also adds to cost. Likewise, what grade of other items, what quality items you want to, you have to give specification requirements make a quality in itself. Your specifications amount what is quality, it speaks of quality, and that's really important item. So I try to elaborate on block quantities, and I try to elaborate on specifications, and this is very important part of project, because this makes quality system, this makes something like that, and we cannot just run away from that. And last time I explained you something about this, so I'm just now browsing, and that is minute televisions coming in, and that's not really, we can say, many people don't understand what's coordination, but it's not question whether they're understanding, they're not understanding how to do it. Coordination cannot be avoided. It's a practical part of projects. So if you try to avoid that, you try to avoid project itself. And I can say, we claim that absence of coordination, you cannot do anything. That's also true if you're an experienced engineer. You have to do that, because coordination engineering is an unlimited world. It can expand its vistas to unlimited areas involving many disciplines in one branch of engineering, and also importing various branches of engineering depending on what class of works are affected. And that, we have seen era of coordination activities when there used to be no electronic technologies, or we now call it information technology, IT, but wherein large voluminous works were carried out on civil, electrical, mechanical, and architectural engineering coordination. And that's very beautiful. You can say coordination engineering has achieved a growth, but we don't have coordinating system engineers, we don't have coordinating systems professionals. That's a requirement of time. So you can say in that era, works of coordination were very much time consuming, due to the fact that even drawings used to be manually drafted or drawn, but that time has gone now. That's history. Now drawing is not that difficult, but understanding of details is a question mark. You can say coordination engineer would have been appointed had professional been experienced in considerable size sites, and professional having just one engineering discipline knowledge could not be successful for efficient working on site, and progress consequently either marred or errors caused. And we can say such unhelpful situation force professional engineers to work long hours to have firm grip of design details and correlated one discipline with all other disciplines one by one, of course, consuming considerable work allotted timings. So we can say an understanding of coordination definition and respective description makes a certain difference on works. We may not call it we cannot call it teamwork. Certainly, I don't say it is teamwork because coordination cannot be done effectively by team, but by by certainly perfect getting through all related details available of schematic designs as well as on other documents, and of course professional market prevailing conventions or so-called good industrial practice. And of course members of project team are required to extend engineering support to engineering coordinator or coordination engineer, without whose input no coordination activity would move. Whereas engineering professional involved on every coordination has to consider personal involvement on every provided information for purpose of corroborating ratification or providing corroborated information based on total scrutiny as well as investigation. Question is coordinator. What is coordination? What is specification of coordinator? Is it only that you have to coordinate or to put something or whosoever? And if that time is limited, I cannot afford, in that case, I can propose my solutions. I can say, okay, we want to do this. But for that, you have to see that your budget is not exceeded. Whatever provisions you have made in that item should not go that. So you can say, okay, this was a requirement or this is a confusion. I either clarify out of these three clarifications what is to be done, or you give me your clarification, provide your clarification, or you tell us, you instruct us what to do. We do not know, we don't understand this. There can be so many alternative options, we can say. And best is number good, one colleague, specific coordinator. Number one is that who can say, okay, this is my proposal on behalf of this contracting company, or this other one. I propose this and you accept this. And that, because you are a coordinator, you know. Generally, that proposal is accepted except in rare cases, and that point is very important. Means proposal even after contract is over, because you have to control speed. You have to move faster, and we can't say, okay, I could not get this. I don't want to talk about this because you didn't give this. Means it's not a supply of material is important. It's now a design of what to be done, and there may be so many changes on that every day, every time. And we have to be very careful about that. This work of coordination is not a decision, means it's a combined work of engineering and contracting. Means it's like that you understand what item is available, it's not available, and information of that. You can comparatively bring another item after successful equivalence making of that comparison properties, because I am giving a comparison statement of this item. This is technical equivalent, this is this and that. There's no problem is meeting functions or requirements of this, that I can do that. And you can say according to the course also this is okay, whatever way you want to satisfy your client. And it's not satisfaction of client as well, it's satisfaction of oneself also, because we are going to take responsibility of this delivered work for so many years, and it should work. And there will be some items we can say, okay, for 10 years warranty, your job is for this 10, your item is for 10 years warranty or for 15 years warranty, and that You are liable to take out this if in case this doesn't work, and that's another problem. To take it out and replacements, that's not easy in construction projects. And that's why I'm saying coordination is perfect design. It's more than designs. It's something that it supports designs, or it's overacts to designs. And coordination means there is no activity which are not, even sometimes designs are part of coordination. Because the designer has to coordinate what's to be done, it's not to be done. So I can say a coordination is a never-ending activity. It's right. It's never-ending activity which therefore cannot be considered time fixed. We cannot fix time for this activity because always new information arrives, and it depends on design mandate as well as scope requirement along with other contract documents such as engineering design specifications and acquired input from special materials producing manufacturers such as documented instructions and material that I study. I repeat this point. Coordination is a never-ending process. It's never-ending activity. It continues always, even if sometimes it's not seen this going on. It goes on and on and on. In terms of office work, a person as a coordinator keeps on working all times, of keeping an eyes on what's coming in activity and what's gone, and what's on the activities of pending activities, keeping all the balance to do. Means that person knows what's to be done, because that doesn't coordinate technical, only coordinates contractual coordination as well. So you can say coordination is never-ending activity which therefore cannot be considered time fixed and depends on design mandate and scope requirement, means along with other contract documents such as engineering design specifications and acquired input from special materials producing manufacturers such as documented instructions and material data sheet studies, and complexities of technicalities and structure of resources have certainly created additional complexities when many disciplines or branches of engineering work together, forcing attention from coordinating professional look into all requirements, contract related and industrial related as well as codes mandate related. And you can say in fact coordination at higher level of responsibility is voluminous always, is voluminous task which work imports working knowledge of various engineering branches, and additionally you can say in-depth knowledge of one's own engineering discipline. And this is also important because one's own discipline is important where something is impacted upon animals or non-human creatures. That can also cause a problem if they don't understand anything. They just want to enjoy life and eat and drink, sleep. And so we can say it's also true that current engineering and advanced project scenario just depending on certain proclaimed software may not be absolutely assistive to automatically resolve details conflict among various disciplines, and therefore no blind eyes can be allowed to trust outcome of various conflicting details. It's only coordination, engineering coordination or technical coordination, or you can say on site what happens, they have to decide. It's that one. And we can say as many items on various components of whatever project to invite equivalent. There can be equivalence, as I said, in items. As many items on various components of whatever project do invite equivalent, additional or argumentative level of coordination for all such designs and respective detailing. Applications on site work depends on final details, which we sometimes name or entitle current documents under proposal, and then approval as such, working drawings and also shop drawings and finals to cover all disciplines in a unified approach, coordination drawings. Such activities to produce coordination drawings on various areas of project components do cause professional requirements from various disciplines, and where coordinator has to apply mind to fully immersed in imaginative contemporary ocean of details, keeping abreast applicable specifications and contract related documents, and of course contractual complexities that make entire situation little more complex, and in certain cases a major overhaul requires to be effected. It's really disappointing to note that coordination preference has been found missing among engineers at beginning of professional career when one tries to opt to specialize just on its own discipline, even discarding its own branch related other subjects. Of course, necessary for professional to be for sure attain at some specialization level, but simultaneously must move on, parallel track and parallel track with remaining disciplines, and certainly try to join other engineering branches overlapping. Now, first of all, for contracts, because these are all parts of contracts, we should know contract base. What is contract? We should understand. We know what is contract, but its legal implication we don't understand. Engineers have to understand that. What is contract? How it's understood? They know there exists contract. Maybe they use that, but whether contract is perfect or it's not perfect, that must be evaluated. Because sometimes those users who never worked in field, but only in designs section, there will be something for them in different way. We'll take up that later on. Now, focus should not find any final stop, but continuation of specialization and then additional working specialization as major requirements in engineering profession, because engineering cannot be replaced or overtaken by any other non-engineering professional. One should consider positively that management or organization can be replaced by professional engineer, whereas its vice versa does not apply, however one may try. And all those organizers, managers who try to dominate professionals or project management have never succeeded with having total reliance on professional engineers. For engineering, details applicable on projects cannot be learned just by going through certain baseless curriculum. Coordination engineering amounts to such physical, invisible, fundamental domain which requires perfect detailed engineering knowledge and thorough knowledge of specialized practical experience, or else no professional can get work delivered. No work can be completed in modernized project without impetus from coordination engineering, which is a common combination of all involved prime domains. Best suited for such type of professional interactive engineering area are those who experience professional engineering organizers or who have invested their practice in every such activity, in addition to respective expertise achievement. In fact, currently coordination is like a super domain for which an ordinary educated engineer cannot, you can say, an ordinary educated engineer, wherever I think, let me repeat, I missed by chance, light interfered. In fact, currently coordination is like a super domain for which an ordinary educated engineer cannot best suit in. But if one has got multi-level experience, can perform such tasks efficiently, it can be said. It can be said sufficiently. To be very frank in stating definition of coordination in a nutshell, it can be acceptable to describe an engineer who can procure all related professionals belonging to respective individual. It can be acceptable to describe an engineer who can procure all related professionals belonging respective individual discipline onto a firm and final agreement on whatever involved project component or components and whatever activity applicable on a set of combination of all architectural, structural and services drawings free from every clash, or it may be named coordinated drawing for all practical working purposes. इंग्लिश में बोला, हिंदी में भी थोड़ा बोला, लेकिन मैं थोड़ा और बोल देता हूँ जो भी मैंने अभी तक बातें की हैं। बिल ऑफ क्वांटिटी के बारे में, स्पेसिफिकेशन के बारे में आप जानते होंगे बिल ऑफ क्वांटिटी क्या होती है। कितनी क्वांटिटी किस आइटम में आनी है उसे बिल ऑफ क्वांटिटी कहते हैं। क्वांटिटी का मतलब आप जानते होंगे, उसे हिंदी में क्या कहते हैं मैं नहीं जानता। कितनी आइटम में कितनी चीज़ें हैं, कितना यूनिट है उसका और वो कितने यूनिट बनने हैं, होना है काम उसका, ये मुश्किल होता है थोड़ा बताना हिंदी में। वो कितना BOQ हर कंपोनेंट के जो भी जितने भी हमारे बिल्स हैं उस प्रोजेक्ट पे, मान लीजिए 5 बिल्डिंग है तो 5 बिल्डिंग के अलग अलग होंगे, साथ में एक्सटर्नल वर्क का एक होगा और साथ में कोई और आइटम है तो उसका भी होगा, एक कॉमन भी होगा प्रीलिमिनरी का। इस तरह से कई बिल होते हैं यार प्रोजेक्ट में और उन सब की डिटेल हमने बनवा के रखी है। जब लम सम की बात आती है, लम सम फिक्स प्राइस की बात आती है, तो वो बिल सारे भरने होते हैं, लेकिन भरने से पहले वो बनाने भी होते हैं। अब कौन बनाएगा कौन नहीं बनाएगा ये छूट जाता है। भाई आप घर में हैं आप बनाइए, सही बात है, आप घर में आप बनाइए। वो जब सही आप बिलों को बना देते हैं, आपके पास उसका सबूत सही होना चाहिए, आपके पास पूरी इन्फॉर्मेशन होनी चाहिए, आप कौन से आइटम लेने जा रहे हैं, ड्राइंग क्या कहती है और समय क्या कहता है उस आइटम के बारे में। इट्स वेरी एसेंशियल टू नो अबाउट दैट। बिल ऑफ क्वांटिटी बनाना आसान नहीं है, टाइम लगता है। पहले तो आपको क्वांटिटीज़ का पता होना चाहिए, ये क्वांटिटीज़ कैसे निकालते हैं, उनको कैसे सीक्वेंस में लाते हैं और कैसे करते हैं। दूसरा ये कि बिल ऑफ क्वांटिटी अगर गलत आपने कर दी तो बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है। हालांकि ये डॉक्यूमेंट लीगल नहीं है, ये कानूनी रूप से वैध नहीं है, लेकिन यूज़ होता है और ज़्यादातर कॉन्ट्रैक्टिंग कंपनीज अपनी डॉक्यूमेंट तैयार नहीं करती हैं और डॉक्यूमेंट बनवा के कोई भेज देता है, अच्छी बात है। वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड ऑल दिस पॉइंट्स। अगर हमने कहा जी जैसे स्पेसिफिकेशन के बारे में हमने बात की, स्पेसिफिकेशन का मतलब है कि हमें क्या लिखना है उस आइटम के बारे में, उसको कैसे वर्णित करना है, वर्णित कह सकते हैं आप इसको, डिस्क्रिप्शन कैसे देना है उस आइटम का, उस विवरण को क्या विवरण कहता है उस आइटम का, वो विवरण क्या कहता है, वो विवरण कैसे लिखना है, क्या लिखना है, वो भी जरूरी होता है। कोई भी आइटम जो हमारे पास सामान्य रूप से होती है, जैसे मैंने कहा खुदाई के आइटम है, अर्थो जिसको हम कहते हैं, और सर्वे के आइटम है, नीचे ब्लाइंडिंग के आइटम है, फाउंडेशंस हैं, ऑर्डिनरी फाउंडेशंस कंक्रीट की, सुपर स्ट्रक्चर के आइटम है, कंक्रीट के ग्रेड्स हैं, जो आइटम आमतौर पर चलती हैं, जिनकी हमारे पास जनरलिटी है, जो हमारे डॉक्यूमेंट्स में है, उसको तो हम इतनी प्रॉब्लम में नहीं आते क्योंकि हमारे पास है लिखा हुआ। हमारी प्रॉब्लम तब आती है जो आइटम वहाँ से रेफ़र नहीं होती है, जिसके बारे में हम नहीं जानते लेकिन हमें करना है, उस आइटम की इम्पोर्टेंस अपनी ही होती है। और आजकल मैं देख रहा हूँ कि यूट्यूब पर भी we have to get these points very well done in this our case, and we have to see this. These are done well. Let me see what weather says. It's going to work in our favor, or we have to close it. The lights back. It means there should be no major rain, but it's already around 6:30, and we have to see what we do. The specification is मैंने कहा मैंने स्पेसिफिकेशन बारे में बताना है, हमको ध्यान रखना चाहिए। स्पेसिफिकेशन भी हम लिखते हैं, कौन से स्पेसिफिकेशन में कितना दम डालना है, हमें करना क्या है ये पता होना चाहिए पहले। खाली लिख देने से बात नहीं बनती है। हमने लिस्टों की भी बात की आपके पास। लिस्ट क्या है, हम लिस्टें देते हैं हर मटेरियल के बारे में। सैकड़ों मटेरियल होते हैं बिल्डिंग्स में और प्रोजेक्ट्स में, हम उसकी लिस्ट बनाते हैं कई बार खुद। भाई 3 या 4 मैन्युफैक्चरर दे दी हमने एक आइटम के, आपको सेलेक्ट करना होगा क्या होता है, और उसमें जस्टिफिकेशन होनी चाहिए। उसमें भी एक डिफरेंस इतना नहीं होना चाहिए कि आदमी हिल जाए देखे कि मेरी आइटम ही नहीं है ये, अभी इनको इतनी सस्ती मिल रही तो मेरी क्यों लेंगे, ये हो जाता है। ये बात बहुत ज़रूरी है। कौन आदमी ज़्यादा महंगे लेगा, नहीं लेगा, कॉमन सेंस की बात है। तो आप भी तो आदमी हैं वहाँ पे, आप भी तो सोच रहे हैं प्रॉफिट हो जाए, तो आप वो आइटम लेंगे सबसे सस्ती होगी, महंगी नहीं होगी। वो लिस्ट ज़रूरी है सही बननी। उसमें ये भी लिखना पड़ेगा कि ये अगर चारों में से कोई और मिलता है जिसके बराबर तो हम मानेंगे उसको। और दूसरा वही स्केजूल जगह जगह भी होते होंगे, सैलरी स्केजूल है, ये स्केजूल है, वो स्केजूल है। वो लिस्ट जो हम बनाएंगे बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट लिस्ट होती है। सिर्फ 50 आइटम 100 आइटम भी हो सकती हैं, हर डिसिप्लिन की आइटम हो सकती है। जो हमने बताया जो जो डिसिप्लिन आपके हैं उन सब की आइटम हो सकती हैं, आपको देनी पड़ेगी। हम ये आइटम लगवाना चाहते हैं इसमें, आप उसके ऊपर नहीं छोड़ सकते, और छोड़ेंगे तो फिर आपको सस्ते लगाएगा, आप महंगे पैसे लेगा, कैसे कर सकते हैं आप। तो वो जो आपके पैरामीटर्स में सूट करती हैं, जो आपने मार्केट से इंक्वायरी की है, उन आइटम को आप लगाते हैं, उस आइटम को इस प्रोजेक्ट में लगाते हैं, उसके बाद निकाल भी देते हैं। लेकिन असलियत में है कि वह आइटम इम्पोर्टेंट ज़्यादा है। वी हैव टू सी दिस पॉइंट्स वेरी वेल। हमें देखने पड़ेंगे, सब बातें आसान नहीं है समझना, समझने में टाइम लगता है। और इसलिए मैंने कहा स्पेसिफिकेशन लिखना ज़्यादा जोर देना भी ठीक नहीं है, हमें उतनी बात करनी चाहिए जितना हमें कराना है, जितना हम समझते हैं बजट में है। ये नहीं कि हमने छोड़ दिया, लिख दिया भाई आप कर दीजिए जो करना है, और हमने उसको ऐसी स्पेसिफिकेशन दे दी कि वो प्राइस डबल हो गया इस आइटम का। तो उसका मतलब हमारे वो समझ नहीं है प्राइसेस की, क्योंकि प्राइसेस का डबल होने का मतलब ये है कि वो बजट से बाहर हो जाएगा, और वो भी हम नहीं तय कर सकते। इसलिए बजट को ध्यान में रखते हुए आइटम देखी जाती है, मार्केट में क्या कहती है वो आइटम। और जब मिनिमम आइटम्स का क्या रेट है, हमको सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन साथ में होनी चाहिए ना, तभी तो हम इस बात को समझ पाएंगे कि हमें क्या करना है, कौन सा सही है, कैसी स्पेसिफिकेशन हो, कैसा बिल ऑफ क्वांटिटी हो, और कैसा बिड हो, और हमारी जनरल स्पेसिफिकेशन तो है ही खैर जो भी है, और हम कितनी क्वालिटी चाहते हैं उस काम में, कुछ लोग सारे आइटम नहीं चाहते हैं, कुछ कुछ चाहते हैं, कुछ नहीं चाहते हैं, डिपेंड करता है। इसलिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट इश्यू मैं बता रहा हूँ आपको। ये इतना आसान भी नहीं है, इतना मुश्किल तो कह रहा है, इतना आसान तो नहीं है। फिर हमें समझना तो चाहिए ये कैसे होता है, क्यों होता है, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बात है। और ये चीज़ समझ के हम कह सकते हैं, कुछ भी कह सकते हैं। इसलिए मैंने कुछ पॉइंट्स रुका समझाने के लिए, ज़्यादा आगे मैं नहीं गया, जाने को जा सकता था। सकते हैं वेल नो प्रॉब्लम। 40 पॉइंट सही, ज़रूरी है बताना, ये भी होता है कि हमें क्या करना है। और 0 0 तो आ रहे हैं सिग्नल्स, जाएगा भाई, वीडियो जाएगा, लगता है सही है। 13 FPS दे रहा है फ्रेम पर सेकेंड, एंड वीडियो 0 0 bps, ऑडियो 0 0 bps. So I cannot say what should I do. I should continue. Just few minutes left now, and it's going with colors and systems falling. And professionally, I can say maybe towns. My voice is not recorded, possibly. Some signals have come back, no problem. So my dear friend, I used to say is that we have to be very logical, and we have to be very, very pragmatic in our approach. We have to be very pragmatic in everything we say. You can note down my email if you wish. As you said, I don't say in the beginning, you can say it's written here. Suraj_engineer@yahoo.co.uk is my email address. You can write down, no problem in this. And here is my certification of competency as a professional engineer, international professional engineer. And here's quality file as well as what I'm talking about. And you can say it's very interesting to note that you can say something about this, and quality is an important part of life. It cannot be avoided. In fact, it's question mark here, and that's why I'm saying this is in blown form. I understand. I try to explain today also projects that I was involved in and some information about those projects in part of coordination engineering. From here to there, you can say we got that one. So it doesn't matter or not matter. Let's just see what we're doing. Life is life and work is work, and we have to see things go like that. No. It's therefore very important from this point of view. We have to understand this, and let me see what's the condition of weather. Just a minute, please. So as usual problem, it's still raining, no problem, but हमने तो अपना काम कर दिया ना. Okay, gentle people, now I'd like to say that we have to cover a lot in this coordination, because coordination is very important from my viewpoint, that we have to care about this. Coordination, as I said, is very important topic. In fact, it's very important subject, and we have to take care of this subject from many viewpoints. And for that purpose, we have to know information. We have to know about what we have to do, how does it work, what are roles of various people involved, because coordinator has to deal with everybody. Coordination engineering has to deal with site people, contractors people, with engineer people, with others, in particular with technical activities involved. We can say, of course, technical is first requirement, engineering is first requirement, a license comes later, other comes later. In this, we have to see how this works. We have to deal with contractor people, contractor key personnel, project manager or organizer or site agent, we can say. We have to deal with documentation also, what information has to go where. There may be many documents, we can take care of that. We have to understand those documents. And those are not easy. One means we have to be very practical for that, such as I listed out just, it's there. We can say, it's a list of documents here. We can just read it now. You can say many documents can be used, and I use many projects such as indicated below. By more, if so required, can be added, but more. It's not by more. I'm sorry, it's but more. Sometimes automatically it happens. So it's site diary or daily job records, reports, site memorandums, briefly written site memo, site instructions valid for procedures and communicative information. Engineer's instructions applies contractually and claimable. Site technical queries for technical approvals and update. And you can say engineering queries for designs, clarification issues, construction method statements for mandatory working requirements, shop drawings for work execution, working drawings for work executions, site clarification, certain confirmations, whatever units, whatever suits the involved problem or issue in constable question. Quality checklist, you can say quality inspection request form, NCR, non-conformance report, red line documents or records, as-built documents or drawings, project dossiers, and many more shall be added later on. It's only fine for site diary or daily job record is very important for everyday activity. You cannot just run away from this. You have to record it daily so that it can also be a reference in future. Some disputes comes in, though it's not legally applicable, but it's record which cannot be compromised. Which can record always speaks. This is a logistic document. You can say it doesn't give any claim. It's a logistic document. Just listed this happened, and we have to. It depends on what we record in. What instruction goes to site agent or a consultant. Or what should be on record. Question marks are there, where issues are there. You cannot just skip those issues. It's therefore very important. This document will take up this requirement later on also, and because it's like something very different, very important, and we have to care about, and we feel that it's important one. So we'll take up this at some stage, and we have to take all of the documents. And we have to use material approval request that are not listed in here. I'll list that one also. Material approval, drawings approval, and material supply status, or we can say many other such status. So many documents as I link to my previous records, my publications. It's not very eminent publication, it's just ordinary publication because it was not given due regard. It was not received well by people. Because I think professionals themselves don't like professional books, so that's the problem. Professionals in engineering do not respect writings, they don't respect their own work. And they have different mindset. I don't know why they are interested in textbooks, what's the reason behind that. And particularly those people nowadays are interested only in design, not in prosecution or in execution, because they want to sit in AC offices or they want to have a comfortable job. They don't want to struggle in sun weather conditions. And those who work there, they don't concentrate on documents. That's a very important problem to be resolved, and I will take care of next talk. But my intention was to bring it to you what is important, and this coordination issue, which is not new but practically very very important now from this point of view or that point of view, can say, for engineers for reliable quality engineering works delivers a professional note, and that is what I say. It is projects and engineers, we can say also, and we can say engineering projects or engineering coordination engineering, we can say that also, both are important. Same way we can say this file, which is quality and coordination, is also very important from every viewpoint, and that in fact Bharat India speaks about, means we speak about. It's very important as well. And here is certification, and here we can say we can take a closure of this talk today after 3 hours of deliberation, and we will see you again. Hope you enjoy this. Thank you very much. I think I should thanks a lot now, and we have to go back to home.